Hello everyone! Welcome back to Old Charles, your favorite channel for rare coins, numismatics, and coin history from around the world. In today's video, we'll be diving into the fascinating story and value of the United Kingdom 2 new pence coin from 1971. This coin is not only an important part of British coinage history, but it also carries sentimental and collectible value among coin enthusiasts. Let's start with the history. In 1971, the United Kingdom underwent a major transformation in its monetary system known as Decimal Day, which took place on 15th February 1971. Before this change, the UK used the old pounds, shillings, and pence system, which was much more complicated. After decimalisation, the currency was reorganized into 100 new pence per pound. The 2 new pence coin was introduced as part of this modernization. It replaced the old 2 pence in pre-decimal currency, but in a new decimalized form. This made the 1971 issue especially important, since it was part of the very first batch of decimal coins minted in the UK. The coin was made of bronze, weighing 7.12 grams, with a diameter of 25.91 millimeters. On the obverse side, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, one of the most famous coin engravers in Britain. On the reverse side, the coin shows the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers inside a coronet with the motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. Between 1971 and 1981, all coins were inscribed with the words, New Pence. Later, from 1982 onwards, the inscription was changed to simply, 2 pence. That means the 1971 New Pence is part of the very first issue of this denomination, making it quite special. Millions of these coins were produced in 1971 to ensure smooth circulation after the change to decimal currency. The exact mintage of the 1971 2 new pence coin was in the hundreds of millions, so they were very common for everyday transactions for decades. People used these coins for small purchases like sweets, newspapers, and other daily items. Over time, the design remained in circulation, but the inscription changed. That's why collectors often seek out the earlier new pence coins, especially the very first year, 1971. Although it was a common coin, many people kept the 1971 issue as a keepsake, since it was directly tied to Decimal Day. Some were preserved in coin sets, while others stayed in circulation until the late 20th century, when older issues began being withdrawn. Now, let's talk about what everyone wants to know, the value, because the 1971 2 new pence coin was minted in such large numbers. In circulated condition, it usually holds only face value in the UK, meaning about 2 pence. However, for collectors, the story is different. In average circulated condition, the coin may be worth between £0.05 to 20 pence GBP, not much, but still above its original value. In uncirculated or brilliant uncirculated condition, where the coin has been preserved without wear, the value can rise to between £1 to £3 GBP. Coins from proof sets or an extremely high grade certified by grading companies can sometimes fetch higher values, up to £5 to £10 GBP depending on demand. It's important to note that the 1971 2 new pence is not considered rare by itself because of the massive mintage. However, collectors value it as the first decimal issue and a key piece of British monetary history. The condition of the coin plays the biggest role in determining its value. Let's break it down. These show scratches, worn edges, faded details, and may even have discoloration. They are usually worth only their base collectible price. Coins with clear details, moderate wear, and some shine can attract beginner collectors and sell for a small premium. These coins retain sharp details, minimal wear, and more luster. They can be valued much higher than face value. These are the most desirable for serious collectors. Proof coins were struck with special dies for coin sets and are often kept in cases, making them shine beautifully even today. These can fetch much better prices in the market. When buying or selling, collectors often use grading services to determine exact quality and authenticity. A 1971 2 new pence in slabbed, certified BU condition can command several times its normal value. Beyond monetary value, the 1971 2 new pence coin holds historical and sentimental importance. It represents the modernization of Britain's currency system and the end of centuries of traditional coinage. For many British families, the 1971 decimal coins were the first coins their children used in shops, making them a part of personal history. For collectors worldwide, it marks the transition of the UK into a modern financial system, and that makes it a must-have piece in a complete British coin collection. So, in conclusion, While the United Kingdom 2 new pence from 1971 may not be worth a fortune, it carries enormous historical value and remains a fascinating piece of coinage. Whether you're just starting your collection or you're a seasoned numismatist, this coin is a wonderful reminder of decimal day and the evolution of British money. We're looking at the United Kingdom 2 new pence coin from 1971, a coin tied to one of the biggest monetary reforms in British history. Decimal day. This coin may look simple, but its history stretches far deeper than you may think. So let's take a long journey into the story of this coin. To understand the 2 new pence coin, we first need to look at the system that came before it. For centuries, Britain used the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. 1 pound was divided into 20 shillings, and each shilling was divided into 12 pence, making 240 pence in 1 pound. While this system worked for hundreds of years, it was extremely complicated for trade and international business, especially by the mid-20th century. Countries around the world were moving to decimal currency systems, which were much easier to calculate, based on units of 10 and 100. For example, in a decimal system, 1 pound would simply equal 100 pence. By the 1960s, it became clear that Britain needed to modernize its money. After years of planning, the UK government announced that Decimal Day would happen on 15 February 1971. On that day, the old currency system would be replaced with a modern decimalized system. As part of this change, new coins were introduced: the halfpenny, 1/2p, the 1 penny, 1p, and the 2 new pence, 2p. These were designed to work alongside some of the older coins during a transitional period, such as the sixpence, shilling, and florin, which were temporarily kept in circulation but given new decimal values. The 2 new pence coin was particularly important because it filled the role of a small but practical denomination for everyday purchases. It was introduced at the same time as its smaller partner, the 1 new penny, and was expected to replace the old tuppence coin that had existed in various forms under the pre-decimal system. The 1971 2 new pence coin was made from bronze, with a weight of 7.12 grams and a diameter of 25.91 millimeters. On the obverse, it carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait was one of the most widely used royal effigies in modern times, appearing not only on coins but also on postage stamps. The Queen is shown wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara ***, a famous royal jewel. On the reverse, the coin features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, with a ribbon inscribed with the motto, Ich diene, German for ***, I serve. This design emphasized tradition, linking the new decimal system to Britain's royal heritage. The inscription New Pence was included at the top, with the denomination 2 below the feathers. The term new was used to avoid confusion during the transition from old money to decimal money. The 1971 issue was the very first 2 new pence coin ever produced, and the Royal Mint struck an enormous number to prepare for Decimal Day. In fact, hundreds of millions of these coins were made to ensure the public had enough supply when the old coins were phased out. In everyday life, the 2p coin quickly became one of the most useful small denominations. It was used for buying sweets, newspapers, bus fares, and countless small items. Many people also remember the 2p coin as a favorite for arcade slot machines and fairground games across Britain. For many families, the 1971 coins were memorable because they represented the very first money their children learned to use in shops. That gave the coin not only economic value, but also emotional and cultural value in British society. The story doesn't end there. The 2 new pence went through several changes after its introduction. From 1971 to 1981, the coins all bore the inscription New Pence. But in 1982, the Royal Mint decided that the term new was no longer necessary, since people had fully adjusted to the decimal system. From that year onward, the coins were inscribed with 2 pence. This means the 1971 issue is part of the earliest generation of decimal coins, making it historically important. Later, in 1992, another big change occurred. The composition of the 2p coin was altered from bronze to copper-plated steel due to the rising cost of bronze. These new coins were slightly magnetic, unlike the older 1971 version, which makes them easy to distinguish. Even though the 1971 2 new pence coin was produced in very large numbers and is not considered rare, it remains a key collectible because, 1. It was part of the very first decimal coinage issue. 2. It carried the New Pence inscription, which was later changed. 3. It represents one of the biggest monetary reforms in British history. collectors around the world seek the 1971 coin to complete their decimal sets. For those who lived through Decimal Day, it's a nostalgic keepsake of a time when the UK entered a new financial era. The 1971 2 Pence coin is more than just metal. It's a symbol of modernization, a memory of daily life in the 1970s, and a connection between Britain's royal traditions and its economic progress. So there you have it, the full story of the United Kingdom 2 Pence coin from 1971. From its role in the decimal revolution, to its design and symbolism, to its place in modern collections, this coin carries a history far greater than its small size suggests. When it comes to coin collecting, one of the most important factors that determines a coin's value is its condition. This is especially true for the United Kingdom 2 Pence from 1971. Even though this coin was minted in large numbers, its condition can make the difference between being worth just its face value, or being a collectible item that sells for several pounds. Let's break down condition in detail. Are the ones that were used in shops, passed from hand to hand, carried in pockets and purses. Over time, they naturally develop scratches, nicks, discoloration, and wear. Most 1971 2p coins you find today will be in circulated condition, since they were heavily used after Decimal Day. On the other hand, are coins that were never released into everyday use. They were either kept straight from the Royal Mint, stored in coin sets, or carefully preserved. These coins retain their original shine, called mint luster, and show no signs of wear. Collectors often pay a premium for uncirculated coins. Proof coins were struck using special dies and polished blanks, giving them a mirror-like shine and crisp detail. They were never meant for circulation but sold in presentation sets to collectors. A 1971 proof 2 Pence coin in its original Royal Mint packaging can fetch much higher prices than ordinary coins. Collectors are very strict about condition, and certain damages can reduce a coin's value drastically. Many beginners try to clean old coins to make them shiny. Unfortunately, this damages the natural surface and reduces collector value. Since the 1971 coin was made of bronze, it can develop greenish corrosion called verdigris if stored poorly. Any misshapen coin loses value. Exposure to moisture, soil, or chemicals can permanently harm the coin's surface. If you want to keep your coin in the best possible condition, here are some collector tips. Store coins in acid-free holders, such as 2x2 flips, capsules, or albums made for numismatics. Avoid touching the surface directly with your fingers. Always hold coins by the edges. Keep coins in a dry, cool environment, away from humidity to prevent corrosion. Never polish or clean coins, as this destroys their collector value. Even though millions were made, condition creates rarity. A worn circulated coin might be worth only a few pennies. But a brilliant uncirculated or proof coin from 1971 can be worth several pounds. Collectors building a Decimal Day coin set will specifically look for high-grade examples. This is why condition is the key factor that transforms a common coin into a collectible piece of history. So, when it comes to the 1971 2 Pence coin, the difference between an everyday pocket change piece and a valuable collector's item is all about condition. If you find one in your collection, look closely, because its grade could make all the difference in value.